New episode of Diary of a Puzzle Gamer, and if this is a diary, it means there are stories in it. And this puzzle in particular has a story that comes with it. About a year ago, I contacted the publisher Puzzledly, and I asked them if they wanted to send me one or two other puzzles for me to solve and then to review and feature in my videos. And I didn't hear back from them. I never received any puzzles, and so I thought, oh, whatever, that's okay. Sometimes they don't respond. Then about 2 weeks ago, my neighbor is moving away, so they have an open house, and I decide, I don't know, out of curiosity, I'll go and see the house, whatever. Maybe I'll turn it to a B&B or something, Airbnb or something. I'll buy it or do something with it. So I visit the house, and I'm touring the house. I visit the basement. In the basement, I'm like, oh wow, this guy has 2 puzzles. There are no puzzles on the house, but he has 2. Oh, they're from Puzzledly. That's crazy. Oh, that's crazy. He ordered the same puzzles that I asked the publisher to send me about a year ago. What are the odds that he ordered the same 2 puzzles that I asked about and never received? And so an idea starts dawning on my mind. I go and talk to the guy and say, hey, I think I got my puzzles in the basement. And he just, no explanation, he just said, oh my gosh, I'm so happy you found them, so happy you can have them now. And I walked away from the open house with my puzzles. These are the facts. I'll let you interpret the story. So, with some delay, I apologize to the fine folks at Puzzledly. With some delay, I'm featuring one of your puzzles in my videos. This is Full Bloom, 500 pieces. It comes in the box that you see here. This is the lid. This is the box. It comes with a puzzle. And I have to tell you, it was a little bit confusing to figure out which image was the main reference, because it turns out the puzzle features exactly the image that it's here on the box. And you're like, well, duh. But it wasn't obvious to me because the image continues here on the side. And sometimes when that is the case, the puzzle indeed features the whole image that hugs the sides of the box only. The thing was also confusing because then the puzzle also did not feature exactly the same. The puzzle, the mini poster continues and goes longer than this. And it happened to me in the past that between the box and the poster, neither matches the image exactly. So the general reference, but until I solved the puzzle, I didn't really know which one was which. It turns out, again, only this image here, not the sides. And as for the poster, only the part that shows up before you fold it. And so now you know the mystery. Now, if you solve it, you're going to have an easier time because you're going to have a reference image that you can actually trust. 500 pieces, but very difficult, very difficult. The first puzzle I solved by this publisher, so I can talk a little bit about the production because it's also the first time that I saw one of their puzzles. The pieces are on slightly on the thin side, not super thin, but slightly thinner than, I don't know, Ravensburger or pomegranate. The fit, the grip looks pretty good now, but as I was solving it, actually, the pieces were not sticking together, so to speak, so that if I had to move 2-3 pieces around, like a section around, it would always fall. There was just no way of holding it together as I was moving them. So it turned out to be tight only after it was completed, basically. Bit of a glare, as you can see from the backlight that you get from the reflection here. A bit glary, but not too much. I've seen a lot worse. Something you may have noticed already, the composition of the grid, it's all 2 in, 2 out, 2 in, 2 out everywhere. So that made it a lot harder to solve. Once I solved the edges, which were very challenging, I got several false positives, and it just looked like, hey, how come that edge is like all the way there and the bottom is this short? Something is not right here. So I had some false positives there, and then a couple of other false positives as I solved it, just because with only one pattern to in, to out. As you can see, not like huge corners, not like one bulges enormously, the other is super tight, so not a variety. And a pattern that basically is a very abstract pattern as you're solving it. False positives are bound to happen, and false positives always make the experience a little less fun for me. I love solving puzzle. I don't love to resolve them or fixing them once I got a false positive. Just annoying. That's the way it is. But other than that, the puzzle definitely challenging, very, very challenging. I may have even considered giving up once or twice. Again, between the false positives, the identical shapes, I wasn't sure which image was correct. But then I got stubborn, I stuck with it, and so lo and behold, I have a pretty nice image here. Very beautiful, but again, very difficult because of those elements that I mentioned, which add to just the objective challenge of all of this red and all the colors being everywhere, all the patterns being everywhere, green everywhere, red everywhere. These two, the core of these two flowers, those actually were the least challenging part of them all. When I was getting pretty desperate, I completed those, and that gave me a boost to give it a final push. So definitely a puzzle which is challenging, part for the right reasons. It's an image that is challenging and no problem there. And partially for maybe not the right reasons. Again, identical grid pattern, some false positives. Again, accentuated by the fact that the fit is not particularly tight. And so the possibility of two pieces really looking like they're correct, but they're not, increases. So overall, a good puzzle. Again, not one of my favorite possibly because of these little elements that I mentioned here and there, but still definitely pleasant and a satisfying challenge if you can go through it. Also, if you don't have to inspect the house of your neighbor to retrieve it, even better.